Yay, I
Okay.
figured it out. Okay.
All right. I'm going to mute everyone um, just so that it's easier to hear me. All right. Welcome. It's so wonderful to see all of you from all of these areas of the world. Marley is moving to Hawaii, so in my mind, she already lives there, but she's in South Philadelphia um, for just a little bit more time. I got a request for glutes and hamstrings, which is, I think, the unspoken request 100% of the time. So I just went with it for today. We'll add in some of everything. Some wrist stretches for today. We'll do some twisting. I'll throw in an arm balance. We haven't done that in super long. Everything is 100% always optional. The more I think about practice, why we show up, it's really to experience ourselves and what we need, and that changes day to day. So it's a wonderful thing to take on frequently as a daily, weekly practice. And there's no wrong answers here. There's absolutely no wrong answers. So it's a pleasure to be among all of you, and you'll appreciate probably having one or two blocks available, and we'll spend some time on our knees, not too much time. If you want a blanket to pad up, you can grab that. And let's get started. Make your way to your mat. We're going to start in a seated position. Oh. You can make a diamond shape with the legs, feet together, knees can drop out wide. And then one of your blocks or two of your blocks or a pillow can set up either on top of your feet or inside your heels. Essentially, you'll want to round your spine and create a ledge for your forehead with your block. Now, that will look a little bit different depending on the relationship of your heels in towards your groin. But just know, some people like information. I'm one of those people. Whatever your diamond shape looks like here, something productive is happening. So the further your feet are away from you, the more you might feel it's in the hamstrings, like behind the legs. And the closer your heels are to you, the more you might feel this in the hips. Now, as always, right, the most important part is your ability to breathe with control and with ease. So if you're doing that, you're practicing yoga, you've arrived, you've achieved union. And if you're not doing that, please make any adjustment that's needed so that your breath can be a reminder of flow, right? That things are always changing, always shifting. So if you haven't already, let your forehead find its way to a block or something supportive, please. Let your spine start to round. So you're lengthening the space between each vertebra. And let your neck kind of hang. And even though this is the orientation that the neck takes on when we're texting, when we're at the computer, the effort that you put into actively releasing that is energetically different than the muscular engagement of holding it up. And then whether you can sense it or feel it, or you just take my word for it, just allow this lengthening process to happen. And let your breath expand in a way that kind of mirrors what's happening to the length you're making in the spine space. So from the base of your tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head, breathe. And then in our attempt to unlimit, unbind yourself, expand laterally. So let your sides lengthen. breathe into the side body. Yeah. Notice the feedback that your brain is getting from your physical sensations that the hips are telling you a whole story about, and how that feedback influences or affects the the dialogue of the mind, the quality of the breath. And we won't be here for too long. Let's call it 3 more very deliberate, very deep breaths. Slowly. And you're always welcome to stay somewhere that feels interesting, appropriate. Perhaps you're getting very close to an edge. You want to just check that out for another moment. If and when you feel yourself ready to come out of this shape, just going to use your hands to help sit yourself all the way up. Release your hands behind you and put your feet on the floor. Maybe even give the knees a windshield weight from side to side. We'll stay sitting. If you'd like to start your practice with any kind of intention setting, make your way to a cross-legged position. Take a gesture that's meaningful to you. For me, it's just bringing my hands together in front of my heart, just as a reminder. Lovely. Release your hands, straighten your legs out in front of you. So depending on the availability of your hamstrings, right, if you are living in perhaps less than 0-degree weather, you might want to bend your knees a little bit. That's fine. What's most important to me here is a sense that you can lift up and out of your hips and like lift up through the crown of your head. Bring your palms down at your sides. So palms on the floor, just in line with your hips. Push down into your hips so much that you can kind of free up the neck. Maybe toggle one ear towards one shoulder and do the second side. And then perhaps the legs want to straighten a little bit. For me, they can go all the way there. For you, that's perhaps available, perhaps not. And then think about sending your heart way up towards the sky. So you're going to be really limited in this cat-cow action. That's okay. And then kind of roll the spine, just a little cat, and inhale, push into your hands, lift your chest. Just feel the backs of the legs engage. And exhale, round, chin towards chest. One more, inhale, lift your heart. This time, as you exhale, round into the spine, reach your hands forward towards your feet, even if the knees are bent, and then roll your way all the way down onto your back. Engage your belly, scoop out the belly. So it's like a low kind of boat pose situation. All the way, all the way, all the way. Oh, and then when you get there, you can extend your arms overhead, big stretch, full body stretch. Oh, good sounds over here. Hug your knees into your chest. Happy baby, if that's something yummy for you. It can absolutely just be a squeeze of the knees in towards the chest. Oh. We'll meet in table. There's no rush. Give yourself 5 or 6 breaths. You can move in a way that feels good. I'll wait those 5 or 6 breaths before I start giving instructions. But I will give you a preview. We'll have a wrist stretch coming up, a hip opener coming up. Do whatever it is that feels wonderful to you. Okay. All right, let's meet in a neutral spine. So knees just under the hips, belly engaged like a flat back. Keep your right hand just as it is. Turn your left fingertips towards your knee. So your wrists are in a line. If that's way too much on your wrist, turn your fingertips towards the outside edge of your mat. totally up to you. Find a wrist stretch that works. Keep your belly engaged. Send your right leg straight back behind you. Notice if your hips shifted. See if you can keep a even distribution of weight from your hands. As you exhale, coil your right knee in towards your nose without rounding the back. So you're just moving from the hip, not the pelvis. And then send the right knee out towards the right, like you're peeing on a fire hydrant. Send the knee back behind you and then coil it in towards the nose. Do one more in that direction. And then very simply, when you're ready, just switch direction. So the knee goes back, externally rotate the hip wide with the knee, draw it in. One more. Oh. And then send the right leg straight back behind you, toes point down. Keep your right hand on the mat. Send your left arm forward. As you exhale, tap your knee and your elbow underneath you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee and elbow tap. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend your right knee, reach your left hand back. Don't grab your foot, just reach your fingertips back. Kick your foot up. And then use your left hand, find your left glute. Use your hand to push your left hip in towards the midline and squeeze your right knee in towards the midline too. So it's same shape, just a little bit more engaged. Now I'm sweating. Left hand down, right knee to the mat. Inhale, cow spine. I've been teaching yoga a long time. Cat and cow pose still hardest things to cue. Exhale for cat. Okay, very good. Make your way back to neutral. Right wrist stretch. Mine is howling, so that was good timing. Left leg shoot straight back behind you, and then you'll make circles. And do this very slowly so that you're stabilizing the pelvis and you're really just moving the hip in its socket. And the slower you move, the more you might be able to access that isolating movement. And then switch directions, please. Send the left leg straight back behind you, right arm straight forward in front of you. Exhale, knee and elbow tap. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee and elbow tap. Inhale, lengthen, bend your left knee, foot towards the sky. Right hand reaches back behind you. Find your right hip. Use your hand to move the right hip in towards the midline. Hug the left knee in towards the midline so you're really engaged. That instantly makes me sweat. Take a breath in. Release your hand, release your knee. Bring your big toes together to touch. Widen your knees. Take an inhale. As you exhale, shift your hips back towards your heels. Don't move anything, listen. As you inhale, keep your big toes touching. Shift forward, let your hips sink, almost like you were gonna take this really weird variation of up dog. Feel that front of the thigh, kind of inner groin stretch. Exhale back to child's pose. Do that 2 more times, explore. This is a really weird one. I don't know that we've ever done this in this class. I start to feel it in a lot of places. The front of my hips. Oh. Just breathe. And then the next time you shift your hips back, take a really restful child's pose. You can bring your forehead to the mat and let your arms lengthen long at your sides. Give your shoulders a rest. Come back to your intention. The intention that you set for yourself, the reason you come to your mat. And send your arms forward. And walk your hands in towards the legs. we're making a funky transition to standing at the back of, or forward fold at the back of the mat. So for me, I'm just tucking the toes, shifting the weight back onto the heels, straightening the legs. You can kind of pedal out the feet, do whatever feels good to wake up the backs of the legs, to reconnect with your breath. Roll your way all the way up to stand. You bring your hands to your hips. Stand on your left foot. Bring your right knee in towards hip height. Your leg might not straighten that much. It's okay. Straighten the leg. Rock forward off the left foot. Just take a little step forward. So right foot's in front of the left foot. Stand down into your right foot. Bring your left knee in towards your hip height. Straighten the left leg. Just a little bit's fine. Shift forward, step forward. And if you have room to do that one more time, go right ahead. We'll meet at the top of the mat. Rock around on the balls, the heels, the sides of your feet. Find a very even distribution of weight. Yeah, we'll stand a little bit this evening. And then close your eyes, release your hands down at your sides. Energetically push down through your feet. And as you're pushing down through your feet, without moving them in space, think about scrubbing your feet away from each other. You know how that lights up the outer sides of the legs. Draw your kneecaps up so your quads, your thighs are engaged. Imagine doing a little cat and cow in the spine to find that neutral place. So your ribs are stacked just over your hips. Your shoulders are stacked just over your ribs. Shoulders soften, please, down your back. Make a lot of room for your neck. And then slide the back of your head back so your ears are in line with your shoulders. As you energetically push down through the feet, energetically lift up through the crown of the head. And then keep some of that effort. Take a big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh out. Breathe in through your nose. Soften your jaw as you open your mouth and sigh out. Breathe in, float the arms wide and up. Perhaps you look up. Stay here for a moment and reach further through your right fingertips, maybe a right side body stretch. Reach through your left fingertips, maybe a left side body stretch. Lift up through both fingertips, maybe back bend a tiny bit. As you exhale, knees bend, arms widen, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Let your head go. Push into your feet, bring your hands to your shins, find a flat back. Exhale, soft knees, hands to the mat. Step your right foot back to a lunge, soften your right knee down to the mat. Recall your hand on your outer left hip. Hug the hips in towards the midline. Reach the arms overhead for a low lunge. Ribs in. Sink into your left knee as you reach your fingertips up. Push into the back foot, whether your toes are tucked or the foot's down, doesn't matter. Last breath in. Exhale, slowly float your hands to the mat, frame out your left foot. Right toes tuck, right knee lift, step back to downward facing dog. Sit with a little bit of imbalance. The next time you inhale, ripple your way forward to plank pose. I'm not going to cue how you lower. We're all going to lower. It could be knees, chest, chin. It could be to the belly, whatever you're ready for. Do it safely. Do it lovingly. Do it with intention. Inhale. Is it baby cobra? If you're ready for some deeper back bend, I'm not going to stop you. Shoulders move away from your ears. Feet are pushing down into the mat. The back of your neck is long. Exhale, let's all meet in down dog. Look forward. Step your right foot between your palms. Pause here. You can tet up on fingertips. We're staying here. Just squeeze your outer hips towards the midline. I feel everything change when I do that. Kick back through your left heel. Ground through the big toe ball mound of your right foot, reach the crown of your head forward. As you exhale, step forward, fold forward. Very simple. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up, reach up, rise up. Follow your breath as you exhale, dive right back down. Same thing, second side. Inhale, look up halfway. Hands to the mat, step your left foot back to a lunge. Lower your left knee down. Before you do anything, squeeze the outer hips towards midline. Inhale, arms rise. If your left toes are tucked, that's fine. If your left foot's down, that's fine. Sink into your right knee a little more. Push into your left foot, let the thigh open up. Reach through your fingertips just like you did when you were standing. Last breath in. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Step back down dog. Inhale to ride your way forward to plank. And exhale, you lower. Inhale, come up for air, take a big sip. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Open your mouth, sigh out. Look forward, step your left foot forward. Stay right here as you are. You can tent up on fingertips. Squeeze the hips towards midline. Square off your sacrum. Crown of the head reaches forward. Back heel reaches back. Stay. Breathe. The next time you exhale, step forward, fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins. And we fold. Rise to stand. Arms overhead, look up. Complete the cycle. Exhale, hands to heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your heartbeat. We're going to repeat that and just add a little bit. You'll know where we're going. Just come back home. Come to yourself. Float your fingertips up. Watch them with your gaze. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant your palms, step your right foot back to a lunge. Lower your right knee down, inhale, arms to the sky. Sink into your left knee, push into your back foot. Notice what's changing, what's feeling a little easier, what's feeling a little more challenging. That's all that we need to pay attention to. Exhale, float your hands to the mat. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Legs are active, shoulders moving away from your ears. The low back is clear. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, step forward. Pause here. Grab your blocks for this one or two. Kick through your left heel. As you exhale, push your right leg straight, bend your left knee. Inhale, switch, bend into your right knee, push your left leg straight. Exhale, straighten your right leg, bend into your left knee. Two more. Good. The next time you inhale, pause. As you exhale, collect your belly, collect your hips. Inhale, crescent lunge, arms to the sky this time. Ooh, good job. We're going to transition to standing on the right leg. You can absolutely bring your hands to your hips as you scoop your left knee in toward your hip. Stand on your right leg. Use your right hand to keep your right hip squeezing in towards the midline. And then we'll do this 4 times. Straighten your left leg, bend your knee. Straighten your left leg. If you want this to be a little more challenging, just like we did a moment ago, as you straighten your left leg, bend your right knee. Good. Next time your left knee's bent, hook it over the right thigh. Sit down into a figure 4 chair. the only acceptable types of chair pose. Ooh. Okay. Stand up a little bit into the right leg. Trace the left ankle down the right leg until your little toes touch. You're standing crisscross. And then fold forward. You have blocks right there. Feel that nice IT band stretch on the right leg. If you need more here, walk your hands to the left. Good, hands back through center. Uncross the feet. Look up halfway as you inhale. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. We'll do the second side as you exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway. Plant your palms. Step this time your left foot back to lunge. Lower your left knee for a moment, and then we'll have a juicy moment here. We'll do this on the other side too. Let your right elbow come outside, like you're switching your knee and your ankle position. Just come onto the blade edge of your right foot and let your right knee open up. Yeah. Beautiful. Good. Foot back to the floor. We're right where we started. Inhale, arms to the sky. Right, second side. Sink into the right knee, push into the left foot. Last breath here. Hands find the mat. Your inhale brings you right to plank pose. And your exhale, you can lower to the belly. You can always come back to child pose or table. We'll meet in down dog. As you inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Look forward, step forward. Grab blocks. Take an inhale, collect your breath. As you exhale, back knee bends as front leg straightens. Do that a few times. So we're moving in opposite directions. Let that energetic quality of the legs be balanced, right? So you're not doing more with the front leg and just kind of letting the back leg do nothing. The next time you're bent in your left knee, pause. Squeeze the hips towards midline as you exhale. As you inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. The transition we're going to make is to standing on the left leg with the right knee towards the hip. You can bring your hands to your hips as you make this transition. Slowly, right knee in. Whew. Use your hands to hug the hips in towards midline, right? It's easy when you have that proprioception, you know where you are in space. 4 times. Straighten the right leg, bend the knee. Straighten the leg, bend the knee. If you want to add a bend in the left knee as you straighten the right leg, go for it. Figure 4 awaits. Good. Listen to yourself breathe. Rise up a little bit from your hot seat. Slide the right leg along the outside line of your left. Little toes touch. Fold forward. Your blocks are right there. If you need more here for an outer left hip sensation, walk your hands to the right. Hands to center. Uncross the feet. Inhale, hands to shins, find a half lift and fold. Inhale, all the way up to stand. We complete this cycle with hands down at the heart center. Eyes closed, chin to chest. Just a pause. The important things you discover about you Moments of quiet and stillness. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, please. Plant your palm, step your right foot back to lunge, lower your right knee down. We're gonna switch it up this time, but we're gonna have that yummy moment. Let your knee come behind your elbow, your tricep. Just find that, that outer hip opener. Breathe. Okay, foot back to the floor. This time, tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. So you're in a lunge shape. Bring your right hand to your right thigh, pause. Squeeze your hips towards the midline. Your right hand can come to a block. We're gonna take a twist here. So if that is something that makes this more accessible, we all have different torso lengths and arm lengths. Push into your right hand, peel your chest open to the left. Notice if anything happened in your hips, hug them towards midline. Left fingertips can float up towards the sky if that's okay. Keep squeezing in. Yes, good. Breathe. Last one in. As you exhale, slowly left hand to the mat, right hand to the mat, left leg up and back to the sky. Bend your knee, open your hip. Right, remember we did this in table. Make a circle, 2 circles in both directions, not your whole pelvis, just your hip in the socket. And then switch directions. Knee to nose, shoulders over wrists, step forward. We're transitioning here. Your right knee will come behind your left ankle and you'll pivot your way down to sit. So you can face not forward on your mat. It will actually make more sense. And some of us, my husband included, will need to straighten his right leg forward so that this is more accessible. Yeah. Bring your right arm to hug your left thigh. Left fingertips tent up behind you. So peel your chest open. Open your palm. As you inhale, let your palm mirror what your chest is doing, open. As you exhale, tap your thumb to your pinky finger and squeeze the low belly to twist open more. Inhale, open the palm, open the chest, get longer, lighter. As you exhale, touch your thumb and your second finger and your ring finger together. Twist deeper. Inhale, open. We'll keep going just like that. Exhale, twist deeper as you tap middle finger and thumb. Inhale, open. Twist. Inhale, palm opens. Exhale, make a fist, squeeze. Inhale, unwind, hands over to the right. Just give yourself a little counter stretch. I love to come off my left hip here, it feels great. Bring your left sits bone back to the ground. Straighten your left leg out to the left. If your right leg was straight, bend the knee so your foot's inside your left thigh. Turn your toes way up to the sky. And then bring your hands to cradle the base of your skull. Use your fingertips to lengthen the crown up. As you exhale, twist. This is an unassisted twist. Twist towards the left. Keep your elbows wide. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, twist over to the left. Inhale, come back through center. Do 2 more. Exhale, twist over to the left. Inhale through center. Last one. Exhale, twist to the left. Stay. Keep your left hand just as it is. Reach your right hand towards your left foot. It doesn't have to touch. And then keep your head leaning back into your hand. Reach your right hand forward so you're not collapsing at the neck. Let your right hand touch wherever it will meet your left leg on the outside line, please. And then release your left fingertips to the floor. It can be outside your left leg. It doesn't have to be at your hip. And then push into your left fingertips to assist this twist. You can open a little deeper here. Whew. Last breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, unwind. Bring your hands to either side of your legs. And then bend your left knee in the opposite direction as your right knee. So you have like a pinwheel shape. Your left knee's in the sole of your right foot. Then hands can frame the knees. And this is very subtle. As you inhale, just like we did when the legs were straight, lift your chest, almost like cow spine. Oh. Exhale, round into the back. So this might look different for all of us. Just feel. It doesn't have to look like anything. If you're having like a flirtation with something that I don't know to offer because I don't feel it in my body, you're not wrong. Go for it. Take like one or two more here. Good. When you're ready, you'll turn to the back of the mat. You'll pivot both knees up. You'll shift your seat a little bit so that your sits bones are square to the mat. Right foot down, hands behind you, either thumbs pointing towards the feet or fingertips pointing back. Left ankle crosses over right thigh. Yeah. And then roll your shoulders onto your back, lift your chest. And you can scoot yourself forward to the extent that you feel a hip stretch. Keep lifting your chest up, not your chin, but your chest. Breathe. Yeah, slow your breath. Last moment here. Good. Look over to the right. Stamp your right foot down. Just stamp it down to the outside of the mat. Walk your left hand to meet your right hand. And then you're going to pivot towards the top of the mat. All 10 toes will face forward. Your right foot will have to step wide. That's fine. You have a wide stance here. Very nice. Roll your way up to stand. Hands to hips. Stand on your right foot. Left foot right into tree pose. A little bit of balance. You can use your hand or you don't have to. Now, because the hip is so open today, we're going to play with a tree pose. You can look at your foot, you can feel your foot, or you can do this just from imagining what's happening. Spin your toes towards the back of the thigh. Notice that external rotation of the hip when you do that. So your heel is forward, your toes are wrapping back, and then use your right hand to hug your hip in. Ooh. And then from there, this is a very stable, engaged tree pose. Push your foot into your thigh or your leg into your foot. Maybe hands can come to heart. Maybe they can reach overhead. Make this your own. All right, we're not going to do warrior two today. So imagine this left hip in like a warrior two, like what that might feel like. Woo. Good. Slowly release the left foot back down to the mat. Release your hands, just walk, simple walk, step to the top of the mat. We have another side. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway. Plant your palm, step your left foot back to a lunge. And keep your knee lifted, squeeze your hips towards midline. Right hand to thigh just to prepare for this twist. Squeeze in, put the big toe ball mound on the mat really firmly, and then twist open. Stay out of your left shoulder. Keep the blade of your shoulder rolling onto your back. Maybe right fingertips to the sky when you're ready. Engaged. Last 2 breaths here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Last one, inhale. Good, exhale. Right hand to the mat, right leg to the sky. Down dog split. Bend your knee, open your hip. 2 big circles in both directions. And the knee comes in towards the nose. Take a big step forward. Left knee will step behind the right ankle. You'll spin down to sit. Straightening your left leg is an absolute option. Left arm hugs right knee, right fingertips to the floor behind you. Wide palm to start, right? Left hand wide open. And it's mirroring what's happening from the tip of your shoulder to the other tip of your shoulder. Exhale, tap pinky to thumb as you churn from the low belly twist. Inhale. Exhale, tap ring finger to thumb twist. Inhale. Exhale, middle finger and thumb tap as you twist. Inhale, open. Exhale, pointer and thumb. Make a fist squeeze. Good. Inhale, unwind gently. Maybe come off your right sits bone. Lower your right sits bone back to the mat. Send your right leg wide and long. Bend your left knee if it was straight. Sole of the foot inside your right thigh. Look at your right foot. The toes are pointing straight up. Hands to the base of your skull. Use your fingertips to guide the spine long. We have 4 here. As you exhale, twist to the right, chest points towards the toes. Inhale back through center. Last one, stay. Right fingertips remain at the base of your skull. Left fingertips reach towards the right foot. Really reach. Keep your head leaning back into your fingertips so you're not straining the neck. And then reach your left fingertips forward, forward, forward. Find the outside of the right leg anywhere. Release your right hand just outside your left hand. Tent up on fingertips. Push the floor down and away to really take a twist here. Yeah. Beautiful. Unwind. Left hand, right hand can stay where it is. Left hand outside the left thigh. Shift onto your left sits bone. Bend your right knee so you have like a pinwheel shape. And then hands frame the knees. And this is a very personal moment here. It's just like a cat and cow action. Feel what you feel. How subtle can you be with your breath? How subtle can you be with your actions? How deeply and fully and completely can you feel what's happening inside, right? This has nothing to do with the role you play at home, the job you have, the money you make. This just has to do with being able to feel. Good sounds. Last one, please. You can turn to face the back of the mat, turn the knees up, feet up. You'll have to shift a little bit with your seat, your feet, and then hands behind you, right ankle hooks over left thigh. Scoot your seat as close to your heel as it will go comfortably without letting your shoulders collapse. So shoulders roll open, chest lifts, not chin, just chest. The principles of yoga, the arms of the umbrella that have nothing to do with asanas, they start here, right? Branch 1 and 2, yamas and niyamas, practices that we take on for ourselves, they start right here, right? Ahimsa, non-violence. You don't have to hurt yourself to be doing yoga. All you have to be doing is breathing. Last breath here. Open your mouth, sigh out. Look to the right, stamp your left foot over to the right. Right hand meets left hand. You'll pivot to a wide stance position. Left foot might have to walk a little wider, roll your way up to stand. Left toes point straight forward, hands to hips, right foot right into tree pose. And then as you're getting yourself set up, heel moves forward, toes wrap back. Left hand is outside your hip. Use your hand to push your hip in towards midline. Use that action. Keep going. Thigh or shin into foot, foot into thigh. So this is very active. Hands can come to heart center when you're balanced. Arms can extend overhead. Anytime you'd like, not necessary, just an option. You can play with your balance. Anytime you notice yourself moving away from what we're doing here, right? Engaging. Come back to it. You know exactly what to do. Reverse your way out, hands to heart. Right foot steps wide. Take a slow walk to the top of your mat. Rise up all the way onto your tippy toes, arms to the sky, big stretch here. As you exhale, stay on your tippy toes, hands to heart, bend your knees, lower your seat towards your heels, a little bit of balance. Split your knees wide. Release your hands to the ground beyond your toes. Two options of unlimited. You can walk your hands forward as you shift your seat back and make this like a malasana variation that feels great for me. If it doesn't feel great for you, you don't have to do it. Option number two, crow pose. You have these really open hips, these really strong arms, palms to the ground. Make a ledge with your elbows. Climb your knees up onto the backs of your arms. Look forward. That's your counterweight. Your gaze is your counterweight. Beautiful Marley. Jess, it's dark in your room, but I guarantee you look gorgeous. Heather, you're just out of view, but you are gorgeous also. Step, step, or shoot the legs back to chaturanga. You can move through a vinyasa. We're all gonna meet in downward facing dog or table. Take your time, right? Beautiful. Very nice work. I see everyone doing something a little bit different, and that is very appropriate because we're all so different. Right leg to the sky. Bend your knee, open your hip. If you want to flip your dog, if that's something you crave, we won't do an active back bend tonight. So if you like that sensation, go for it. When you're done, when you had enough, take your time, no rush. Right foot steps wide of your right little finger. So you're setting up for the best hip stretch of all times, right? So your hands can come down, your left knee can come down. Lots of options here. You can come onto the knife edge of your foot, let your knee wing out to the side. If you have your blocks and you'd like to come off the hands to lower your forearms, option to do that. Make sure you've walked your left knee back enough so that you have that gorgeous thigh stretch. If you need more of a thigh stretch and you want to reach around right hand for left foot, totally available. Let's call it 8 breaths here. You don't have to do anything but breathe. That is enough. That is enough. About halfway through. If there's something else you'd like to explore, now would be a good time to kind of split that up. Last moment here. If you'd like to come back onto your hands, go right ahead. And then this felt really good in my body. We're going to take a wide-legged forward fold from here, but you don't have to shuffle your feet around too much. Just tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, and then pivot your way to the middle of the mat. And if you're asymmetrical on the mat, it doesn't matter. We're not transitioning from here. Just let yourself find that orientation of toes in, heels wide. If you want to bend into one knee and the other knee. This is my intention here is just for you to feel good. So if that's with movement, if that's with stillness, I absolutely don't know what goes on in your body. In your own way, in your own time, crawl your hands back towards the top of the mat. Down dog awaits. If you want to take a cleansing rinse cycle, link that up with your breath. That's all that matters. And then left leg reaches up and back, bend your knee, open your hip. If flipping your dog was something you did on the first side, just make sure you even that out here. Very nice options. Step your left foot wide of your left hand. Right knee can come down. Give yourself plenty of space. So you have that hip opener in the left, that thigh opener in the right. The rest is personal. As you settle in, as you breathe, as I start to quiet, give yourself permission to not have a whole conversation with your thoughts right now. Just let them be there. If you're splitting your time, you want to check something else out. About halfway. Plan your exit strategy. Wide-legged forward fold. We haven't done too much with the shoulders. If you want to interlace your hands and give yourself a shoulder stretch. Come back to the left foot. The final down dog. Walk, step, or hop your way to sit, and then make your way onto your back. Grab your block. We'll take a restorative bridge pose, restful bridge. Block under the sacrum. If you're watching the recording, you're taking this class in the morning time, you want to take an active back bend to start your day, that's a much more appropriate time to take an energetic, active back bend. They're very energizing. So as we synchronously wind down from this evening class together, supported bridge is the invitation. And all the work that you did with your hips to engage, to stretch, moving through those two actions, right? Engaged and then passive. Let all of that work rest on the block that's supporting your hips in this moment in time. If you want to send your arms overhead or out wide, check out what place they land that feels most divine to you. The sweetest, juiciest way to spend the next 10 breaths or so. Last few breaths here. Slowly push into your feet to slide the block out from underneath you. Shift your hips a little bit over to the right, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Let your arms widen and then let the knees drop over to the left. In a moment or two, we'll all turn this into a very simple supine twist with the legs untangled. If this is excruciating on your hip or your inner groin or anywhere really, you can go there now. So just unhook the legs and just stack them one on top of the other. That's an invitation for everyone at this point. If that eagle cross feels wonderful for you and you want to stay there, multiple options. None are better than the other. Bring yourself back through center over the next breath or two. Put your feet down, just feel the difference side to side. Shift the hips to the left and cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Arms widen as the knees drop over to the right. And again, if this is excruciating, untangle the legs. Go for comfort over any kind of aesthetic. and stuff that's completely arbitrary, right? Comfort we take with us. Um, our eagle wrap twist, unless it lives on Instagram forever, it's just a moment in time, right? Comfort is so much more important. The invitation is for everyone to make their way to a stacked kind of twist, the most simple of supines over the next breath or two breaths. Bring yourself back to center. Final squeeze of the knees in towards the belly. Any variation of forward fold on your back. So just hips and flexion. Oh, last final moments before final rest. That can be sitting, it can be lying down. When you've arranged yourself in what you'll take as final rest, really take a moment to settle and resettle into that. So, a couple breaths. Everyone's muted if you want to do some big breaths in through the nose and then some dramatic sighs out the mouth. It's a really nice way to just get rid of any tension that you're unaware of holding on to. And let yourself drift away. Let yourself drift off. Invite your breath to deepen. You don't have to do anything to reawaken the rest of you. that's occurring naturally. You don't have to fight it. Let your breath deepen and the rest of you reawaken very organically. Right? When you feel called to move, start with something small, subtle. And then get more deliberate, broader, bigger strokes. Journey up to a seated position. Any way you want to get there, fine with me. If your eyes are still closed, you can keep them that way. If your eyes are open, perhaps just cast your gaze down and keep your awareness inward just for these final few moments of practice. And then for this final gesture, gather your hands together in front of your heart, if that's meaningful to you, and bow your chin in towards your chest to take a moment, self-reverence, honoring the choices that you made after you made the very, very important decision to show up here on your mat today, and everything that came after that. And as you bow to yourself, I bow with deep gratitude to all of you for showing up here, for sharing yourselves with this larger virtual community that is certainly sustaining me. And I know it's serving a very important role for many of you. With gratitude, have a wonderful rest of your evening.